One of the best feelings that it's something that I look forward to. I actually chase this feeling, and it's the feeling of when you're watching a movie or a TV show when this calm comes over me, because I'm not worried about how good or bad this is going to be. I'm being shown a great story with great characters, and everybody involved is working at the top of their game, and that is a comforting feeling, and it's one of the best. And I got to be honest with you, I never thought that I would feel that way about Star Wars again. But here we are. Now you might be wondering, you're like, "Hey Rob, what's with the face?" Well, here's the thing. I've been gone for a few weeks, and it's because I had shingles. It's a thing, and I don't really want to tell the story right now. I want to talk about Andor. So yeah, on tomorrow's stream, yeah, we will get into it, and I'll talk about it a little bit. But yeah, don't worry, everything's okay. My eye looks like 20 times better than it did, if you can believe that, how red my eye is right now. It was crazy. But anyway, let's just talk about the show, because that's what we're all here for, right? Now I know we've been hearing this since the show premiered, like the season 1 premiere, is that this isn't some for some people it just doesn't feel like Star Wars to them. And I can understand that. I actually can understand that. But I can tell you, this is absolutely what I love about Star Wars. This is completely for me. But I don't want to discredit those people that say, no, Star Wars to me is space battles and Jedi and this adventure thing. And I get that. I understand that. But I think that, look, just like a lot of Star Wars really hasn't been for me, this is the kind of Star Wars that I didn't really know that I was missing until I started watching this and realized, wow, this is really this is really right up my alley. I mean, it's the first time in a very long time that Star Wars has been treated seriously. It's being treated with care, and not just some, you know, byproduct of, I don't know, years gone by, right? And it's just, Star Wars has just constantly referenced itself, and it's not about anything anymore. But this one's different. And I'll also say that, over the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of talk about there being some similarities between some of the themes in Andor and a certain current administration. Now, I don't want to get into that because that's not what this channel's about. But I also want you to keep in mind that these scripts were written years ago. This takes a long time. The production of Andor has been a long process. I mean, you're talking at least 2 years ago when these scripts were written. And I mean, let's be honest, unfortunately, there always seems to be men in power who want to silence truth and try to extend their power further and further. That's just, it's always been that way. I talked about it in my review of the first arc, right? Unfortunately, because I haven't been well, I haven't been able to talk about all of the arcs individually. But yeah, that first arc, one of the things that was just like, wow, it's so impressive, is the attention to detail, the set design, the costume design, everything like that. It makes the world feel real. I mean, seriously, did you ever think that we were going to get to see a talk show that exists in the Star Wars universe? Like, what that would be like, to watch that? I mean, how about a convenience store? Like, I never thought about what a convenience store would be like on Coruscant. I'd never thought about that, and it was awesome to see. How about a hospital? Not just, a little place where, a couple of twins might be born. I'm talking about a full-fledged hospital. Like, what would a hospital be like in the Star Wars universe? It's so cool to see. It's just awesome. You have to hand it to the actors. Every single actor is treating the material with the utmost respect, and that's one of the things that I love about a good project, is that everybody seems to be like exactly on the same page, and they want to do the best work they can. So let's talk about a few of the characters that really stick out. And I know there's going to be some that I'm not going to mention, because the cast is huge. But these people really stuck out to me. Kyle Soller as Cyril. I mean, I can't believe that I was feeling sorry for an Imperial, but his story, his arc is so impressive. Um, like it's the longing to be accepted, and it allows him to be manipulated in these ways that just that horrify him, and of course it horrifies us as an audience member, as audience members. It's wonderfully done. And the way that Andor says, "Who are you?" and his reaction to that, it just underlines the pointlessness of everything that this character has been through. And he doesn't really get any chance for redemption. And that's that's good writing. When it can make you feel sorry for a bad guy, that's good writing. And wow, the right it's so good. Denise Goff as Dedra, she wow, her performance is seriously probably my favorite over the two seasons, because the way that she contorts her face because she's frustrated or whatever, you can see all of what she's thinking in her face, and it really is a very, very impressive performance. I would be shocked if she wasn't up for an Emmy at the end of this. At the end of this year, next year, whenever the Emmys are, I don't pay attention to the Emmys, but she needs to be nominated for her work. She needs to be praised for her work. She is so good in this, and her arc over these two seasons is beautiful to watch. It's really some of the best work I've seen in a very, very long time. And it's her struggle and the way that everything plays out for her character is great. It's just really, really great. And Denise Goff needs to be in more things. That's okay, Hollywood, whoever, put her in more things. She deserves it. She's awesome. Now, Stellan Skarsgård as Luthen. I don't think there's anything from him in this season that kind of, you know, nothing comes close to that amazing speech in season one. But he has been absolutely solid, and I was actually a little bit disappointed that he didn't have. I mean, he's there, in throughout the season, but I wanted more for him to do, and we really get that in this last arc, and you get to see a lot about Luthen, and I loved it. I just loved it, and I think Stellan Skarsgård has been, God, he's been solid for a long time. I mean, the fact that he can almost make me tear up. And then, last year he's playing, the Baron in Dune. Two really solid performances from the same guy, completely different. I just love him as an actor. So he was great. Adria Arjona, I think is how you say her name, as Bix. She was very impressive to me. This season in particular. I mean, last season she's in it and all that stuff, and there's definitely things for her to do there. But in this season, I loved watching her arc, her character grow. It would have been really easy to just make her the love interest, and be done with it. But I love that her character was given so much agency over what she has to do, needs to do, wants to do, and not only did she have things to react to, but we got to see how those things affected her over a period of time. I mean, who thought we were going to get to see PTSD in the Star Wars universe? Well, we did. And as for where she ends up, Elizabeth Dulau as Clea. Now, she's been solid over these last two seasons, and she had a really, really impressive sequence in, I think it was episode 5. I can't remember. Things are starting to run together, but she's solid. She's great, and the way that she plays off of Stellan Skarsgård and he plays off of her, solid, super solid. But again, this final arc, she gets to do things. She gets to carry a lot of the story that was really, really impressive to watch, and I just think her whole arc is so well done. Genevieve O'Reilly as Mon Mothma is another character that they could have just gone the easy route and just made her the unwavering senator from the beginning, and just let it be that. But they didn't do that. They allowed this character to be like a real person, with fears and doubts and man, when she stands up in the Senate, I mean, against the Senate,
I am the Senate.
it was glorious to see and to watch her performance, because there's a lot going through her mind as she's delivering this speech that's going to be heard by billions of people. I don't know how many people heard it, but still, she's solid, just absolutely solid. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun to see that happen. And of course, Diego Luna, I mean, look, there's been a lot of, I think there's been a lot of criticism against him as an actor, basically saying, well, he's not really in it that much, and he's really just being reactionary and all that stuff. But what a journey that, I mean, for him as a person to go through this, to help spearhead this story, to say, hey, this story deserves to be told. And, he, again, with the Gilroys, I'll say, all three of them, working together to make this what it is. I mean, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing that they've all accomplished. And the thing about Diego Luna is that he makes it look easy. And when an actor makes things look easy, when it just looks like, oh, well, he's just reacting in that, that's hard to do. That's hard to just live as that character in that moment, as things are happening, as things are going down. That's not an easy thing to do. And I think Diego Luna pulls it off, and it's great. It's great to see. Now, I know I haven't talked about the story very much, but that's the thing. We've got years now. We've got years to talk about Andor. It's great. But I do want to bring up a couple of things. The Force. The scene with the Force, with mere minutes in the show, Andor has shown more reverence toward the Force as an idea than, I mean, let's be honest, almost anybody, right? Save George. This feels the most right. And it's what's beautiful about it is that it's not even, a Force user, kind of. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. But I'm sitting there and I'm going, I've just got this huge smile on my face, because I'm like, that's the Force. That's the Force. That's the Force that I learned from George Lucas back when I was a kid. This is what it's all about. This is amazing scene. I said this to my wife during the third arc. I said, do you, as you're watching this, do you feel this like extreme sadness like flowing over you? And she was like, no. I said, well, in my opinion, this might be the last time in my lifetime that Star Wars is this good. And that's sad to me. Now, as I said in the beginning, everyone has been working at the top of their game to bring us this show. And I think that deserves our praise. But here's the thing that I want to point out. And I think this is an important distinction. When people talk about, and again, this is my opinion, right? Rogue One, they talk about Rogue One in these like, oh my God, Rogue One is the best thing, blah, 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 blah. Here's the difference. Rogue One was only the second Disney film to come out, right? Had a lot of pressure on it because it was like, well, we got to make this $4 billion that we paid for Lucas. We got to make this money back. This has to be as profitable as possible. So concessions had to be made, right? They had to, hey, let's put in more connections with the original trilogy. Those two guys at the bar at the cantina in Tatooine, let's put them on Jeddah for some reason. Like, that didn't even make any sense. There are things in that movie that are drawing attention to the fact that, hey, you're watching a Star Wars movie. See, look, here's this thing from Star Wars that you really like. Like, you remember this, right? Don't you love this? And it draws me out of the movie. And it's one of the things that keeps me from loving Rogue One as much as everyone else. But also, there are things about the movie that we know were problems, right? The famous scene in one of the trailers where Jyn Erso is walking down that gangway and the TIE fighter comes up. Not in the movie. Not in the movie at all. There was a famous, it was like a behind the scenes sort of thing where in slow motion, you see our whole crew running down the beach. Alan Tudyk as K2SO, who was also great in season 2, by the way. But you see him in his, dot outfit thing. They're running down the beach and they're carrying the plans. This is obviously a scene. Everything had to be reworked for Rogue One to make it better. It's also pretty common knowledge that Vader was an afterthought. They added Vader way late in the process. So the scene with him at the end, I'm sure the other scenes or whatever is kind of like, we really need to make people come see this movie. So let's throw Vader in as much as we can. In fact, let's put him in the trailer so he's not even a surprise. I mean, those are the kind of things that make me go, I don't know. It's like the story couldn't stand on its own, so they had to throw in all this stuff to try to please, I'm sure, Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, whoever, right? This didn't do that. This didn't do that at all. And I can feel, when I watch Rogue One, I can feel the problems. And I can also feel Michael Giacchino, who I really love as a composer. He didn't have a whole lot of time to finish the score. And I can hear that because it sounds unfinished to me and it sticks out and it bothers me. But none of those problems are here with Andor. I mean, this, to me, this is what Rogue One really could have been and maybe should have been if they were allowed to just tell their story. If there's a connection, like if there's a reference to something, it's all because it's telling the story. And that's important. That's an important distinction. I mean, they could have easily thrown in Tarkin and the Emperor and Vader and whatever else, right? They could have done that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I half expected in that last arc, I half expected somebody to be a Jedi, right? Just to be like, oh, we got to throw in this thing, you know? No, they didn't do that. They allowed their story to stand on its own. There was a clear vision, and it was a big, sprawling story, well told. And that's enough. I'll just finish by saying that this, to me, is probably going to be my show of the year. Last year it was Shogun. Shogun was the show that made me go, this is going to win all the awards. This is an amazing show and this is great. I feel like this really should win all the awards. This show is so fantastic. This isn't just a good Star Wars show. This is a great show, period. And I also think this might be pushing it. And look, it's only been an hour since the show ended. But I think that this might be the best thing Disney Plus has done, period. I think I'm going to stand by that. So I've gushed about Andor season 2 for probably long enough. Now it's time for us to, talk about it. If there's anything you want to talk about Andor, let's talk about it in the comment section. Of course, beware of spoilers if you haven't seen the show or if there's arcs that you haven't finished or whatever. Beware, there's probably going to be people wanting to talk about what we've seen. So yeah. But also I want to thank my channel members, especially my level 2 channel members. That's Ninjinzu Games, that's Rufus the Red, and that's Staff Aux. Thank you guys for your support. And yeah, thank you to Diego Luna and the Gilroys for an amazing show. So that's all I got today because I'm tired. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.